This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys. So I am gonna take you to the slide which talks about the historical details first. So SCCM started in 1994 as SMS. Then in 2007 they changed the name to SCCM, and then they changed the name again to MECM, Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager, and then 2002, 2006, and the latest version of MECM is 2010. That last year they released this version. Clear?
Okay.
Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager. Now SCCM has very good opportunities all over the globe. 43% of market share. System administrators earn up to $45 per hour, and you have Indeed in UK. I think Indeed is there for job portals. You can check the opportunities there. Now let's talk about SCCM sites. There are 3 sites in SCCM. So central is optional site, primary is mandatory, and secondary is optional. Okay, why it is optional I'll tell you. Let's talk about, if you I hope you have a pen and paper. You can start writing it down. Okay? Now, central administration site is what? Point number 1, it is an optional server, optional site server. Okay, when do we need this? When you have more than one primary site. If you don't have a primary site, I mean, if you don't have more than one primary site, you don't need a central administration site. It is only needed when you have more than one primary site. Understood?
Okay. Yeah.
Point number 3 is it stores data in SQL Server database. Okay.
Okay.
It does not need any Sybase database or Oracle database. It has a separate database. For example, CAS will store the data in a database. Okay, separate database. It's not a shared database like primary and secondary. They will have separate database just like this one. Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Point number 4, it collects data from primary site database.
Okay.
Primary site database. So suppose, when do we need it? When you have more than one primary site. So let's say primary 1 and primary 2. You can have primary 3, primary 4. That's not a problem, but minimum 2 primary site, and each primary will have database. Okay, and central will be sitting on the top, and it will also have database. So this data and this data will replicate here on the central database. Okay.
Okay.
So it collects data from primary site database. Point number 5 is clients and secondary site. Clients and secondary sites do not interact with this central administration site.
Okay.
So it has got nothing to do with client and secondary site. It will always be talking to primary site. It won't be talking to client which is installed in the computers. For example, you have 10,000 computers. You need to install client in each computer, the small software. This is what this is client, SCCM client. Okay, which you have to install in thousands and thousands of machines. Understood?
Yeah.
So they will not be talking to CAS, and secondary side will not be talking to CAS. Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Point number 6, it has a limit for the client. It supports up to 825,000 client computers. 825,000 clients. 8,25,000.
Okay.
It supports up to 25 primary site. Maximum it can, one central administration site can support up to 25 primary site, not more than that.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an optional server. It is needed when you have more than one primary site. It stores data in SQL Server database. It collects data from primary site. Clients and secondary site do not interact with cache. It supports up to 825,000 client computer. It supports up to 25 child primary site. Point number 8, it manages only primary sites. Okay, it manages only primary sites. Clear?
Clear. Yeah.
So these are the things what we have to discuss. I mean, you have to make a note of
Okay.
this one for central administration side. Understood?
Yeah.
Clear?
All clear. Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 minute. Okay, so it collects data from primary site database. Clients and secondary site do not talk. It manages up to it manages only primary site. All good?
Yeah. All clear. Yeah.
Now let's talk about the primary site.
Okay.
Okay, so primary site is the main heart of SCCM. Okay, it
Okay.
is mandatory site server. Okay, it is mandatory. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Without this, you cannot manage devices. Okay,
Okay.
it supports up to 175,000 clients.
Okay.
Okay, one primary site supports up to 175,000 clients. Clear?
Clear. Yeah.
Then uh, it manages clients. Basically, this is the main thing which manages the client. It manages clients on well-connected network. On well-connected network.
What do you mean by well-connected network?
LAN.
LAN.
Wi-Fi LAN. Okay, suppose you have headquarter, I mean office, wherein all the machines are located. All the machines are connected to a LAN cable, right, or Wi-Fi. So
Okay.
primary site will be able to manage all these devices. If the
Yeah.
devices are outside on WAN network, on a different location, different office, right, and if the connection between this primary and this location, like headquarter in New York, this is New York, and this one is Mumbai, for example.
Yeah.
So it is on WAN network, right? So for the computers which are on different network altogether on WAN network, it has a limited connectivity, very
Okay.
low bandwidth. So we need secondary site server here for branch of
Okay.
offices, and secondary will report to primary.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So primary basically manages clients on well-connected network. If you have devices which are on remote location, we go with secondary site. Okay.
Yeah. Clear.
It collects data from secondary site database. Okay. And client computers.
Okay.
Okay. It collects data from secondary site database. So just like primary, you see primary is there, P1, primary site, and primary has a database. Okay. Secondary side, let's say SS1, secondary also has a database, and secondary 2 will also have a database. Okay. Secondary will send the data to primary like this.
Okay.
Okay. So so it collects data from secondary site database and client computers. Understood? Point number 8. It replicates what it does. It replicates the data with central administration site database. If you have central admin, if it does not, if you don't have central, then it does not do that.
Okay.
This is optional. This is conditional. This is conditional. If you have central, then only it works. I mean, this happens. Okay.
Okay.
So it replicates data with cache database. Okay. Point number 9. Oh, point number 4. I think we have wrong. 5, 6, and 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Still 3. Okay, that's not a problem.
3, 4, 5,
4,
6.
5, and 6. So it replicates data. It stores the data in SQL Server database. Clear?
Yeah.
It stores data in SQL Server database. So basically, this is the main server, okay, wherein the client will be managed on the LAN network, and it will be collecting data from client computers and secondary site server. Point number 7. It replicates, it stores data in SQL Server database, it collects. Okay. It manages secondary site. It manages secondary site. Okay. Without this, secondary cannot exist. Without central, primary can exist, but without primary, secondary cannot exist. Okay.
Yeah.
All clients are assigned to primary. All clients are assigned to primary side. Okay. Understood?
Yeah.
Any question so far?
No, all good, all good.
Now secondary side. Secondary comes into the picture when you have devices in remote location. So this is optional side. Optional side or conditional basis. If you have devices in remote location, for example, you have headquarter in New York. This is your headquarter. And you have branch offices in 3 different locations. For example, London, 2000 devices. Mumbai, 3000 devices. Hyderabad, 4000 devices. And in New York, you have like 15,000 devices. So one primary site will be managing these 15,000 devices because that's on the LAN network. But the devices in London, you will have to install secondary site 1 here, secondary site 2, secondary site 3, and these secondary will report to primary like this. And they will be managed through this secondary. The devices in 4000, 3000 and 2000, they will be managed through secondary site. Okay.
Secondary side can't manage devices, right?
Huh?
Secondary side can't manage devices.
Secondary side cannot manage itself. It has to be managed through primary side. So whatever the instruction it gets, it will get it from the primary, and then it will pass on to this. Okay.
Okay.
Understood?
Yeah.
So this is an optional side. It is needed when you have devices in branch office in remote location. Okay. Understood? All good?
Yeah. All clear.
Point number 3, it it collects data from clients. Okay. And then it will store it stores data in where? Either SQL Express. Now this one can go with SQL Express or SQL DB, SQL Server DB, any one of them. Mostly we go with SQL Express because that is free.
Okay.
Okay.
It can use both, right?
Both. It can use both.
And primary and central can only use SQL.
Yes, primary and central can only use SQL Server database. SQL Server. It replicates data. What it will do, it will finally replicates data to primary site database. Okay. Point number 6, it supports up to how much devices?
It is 5 sides, 5,000 something.
15,000. Okay. Previously we used to have 5,000. Now it is 15,000.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, secondary site comes into the picture only when you have devices in remote location. Otherwise, you don't go with secondary site. Okay.
Okay.
Any question?
No, all clear.
Okay. So these are the sites in SCCM: primary, secondary, and central. Okay.
Okay.
So hierarchy is like this. On the top, you have central, and central comes into the picture only when you have
More than one primary.
right. So primary 1 and minimum primary 2. This is the you can have primary 3, 4, and 5 and all, but minimum primary 2 primary site. Primary site will report to central like this. Okay. Central will have database. Primary will also have database. And data, it will replicate the data to central like this.
Okay.
Okay. It will have secondary site. Primary will have secondary site. So secondary will also have database like this, and it will replicate the data here. Clear?
Clear, yeah.
Similarly, you have secondary here and secondary here, and it has database and database. It will replicate here.
All clear.
Understood? Now all these things can be installed separately. You can't install, let's say they can be installed on Windows Server. Windows Server 2012 or greater. 2012 or greater. You can't install it on 2008 now. So you can install CAS, Central Administration Site Server here. Or you can install primary site, or you can install secondary site. You cannot have 3 sites at the same time or 2 sites at the same time. It has to be always on separate server, separate CAS, separate primary, separate secondary. Okay.
Yeah.
All can be installed on Windows Server 2008 as 2012 or greater.
Okay.
Now the capability of central 825,000 devices. So in total, in the hierarchy, it's not separate. CAS can manage up to 825,000 devices. In a hierarchy of like central, then primary 2 primary side, then you have secondary, so in total the number of devices what we have from central to from primary to secondary, in total 825,000 devices.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Similarly for primary, in total 175,000 devices. So let's say primary 1 has some secondary site, let's say 3 secondary sites are there. So whatever the number here, and here, total 175,000. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And secondary, it's a separate. Okay. Each secondary can have maximum 15,000.
Okay.
Okay. Maximum. These are the maximum limit. Understood? All clear?
Yeah. All clear. Yeah.
So this is the architecture. For a small size company, you will go with only one single primary site. Okay. And for medium-sized company. This is for medium-sized company. 99% of time you will have this kind of architecture. 99%.
Okay.
So you will have primary here, and you will
Mhm.
have secondary and the branch offices. Okay. And very rare, this kind of architecture, very rare for
So what is that? That's primary and half.
this
Okay.
for this for big size organization. Very rare. The CAS will be sitting on the top,
Mhm.
then primary 1, primary 2, primary 3. They will report to central. Got it?
Okay. And what's the top one there? Has primary reporting to primary, is it?
No, primary cannot report to primary. It's a parallel site. On the top, it's a CAS, Central Administration Site, CAS.
No. On the example, first example, we have P1, P1, right?
Only one primary here, just the
Okay.
primary here. Simple. No other primary.
Okay.
So you see, in every case, primary is there, primary, and primary. But
Yeah.
central, here you don't have central and CAS. Here you don't have CAS.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Another example, central on the top, then primary, and these secondary will report to this primary, these secondary will report to this primary. Okay. Data replication happens from downward to upward like this.
Okay.
Then we have site roles. We'll discuss about these things tomorrow. And these are
Okay.
the site roles, management point, distribution point. I will send you one article. I want you to go through that first,
Okay.
just once. That will give you more a clear picture. What is
Okay.
about? What are these site roles? And then tomorrow when we do the session, your concept will get more clear.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's great, Kaza. Thank you. Thank you. So
Okay.
tomorrow or Monday?
Or Monday. Yeah, Monday. We can do Monday. Yeah.
Up to you. I don't mind.
Monday. Let's do Monday. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No problem. Thank you, Kaza. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.